The Quickfit Deluxe sling is a sling that we use on our passive lifts with a 6-point cradle. That's the loop style cradle, and it's good for about 95% of the resident population. Those residents would include those who are amputees, either single or double leg amputees above the knee, as well as any of your general population. The Quickfit Deluxe does not have a head support, so for those who need head support, this would not be the appropriate sling. As with all the other slings in the Hoyer Professional Series line, you'll see that there's a purple tab indicator at the top for the shoulder. This is the tab that goes at the shirt collar for the resident or thereabouts, and one at the bottom as well, which is positioned generally in the tailbone or the coccyx area. Additionally, there's a label, and this is the same label that you'll see on all the slings, but that label has a big arrow which tells you which direction is up or the top of the sling, and also tells you that the label for the sling goes outside or away from the resident or patient. You'll see sizing indicators on the edge, the green in this case meaning a large, and sizing indicators are on the label as well. Now what I'm going to show you is standard application of this sling, the Quickfit Deluxe, on a resident, both for normal use as well as for amputee, single and double amputee use. And I'm going to start by accordioning up this sling in my hands, and by doing so this gives me an easier working platform. As you'll see, when I've got the sling in my hands like this is much easier to place behind a resident's back than this much material is. So again, I'm just going to accordion that up in my hands. I've already explained to my resident where we're going and that I'm going to put a sling on her, and I will of course stand to the front of her so that when I move her around she doesn't have any fear or concern of tipping out of the chair. So after having accordioned it, I'm just going to place it behind the resident. I'm going to line that purple tab at the top up with where her shirt collar would be, and then I'm going to tuck the sling down behind her all the way down to her tailbone. In a normal instance you would not be able to lean your resident or patient forward, but this will give you an idea that we want to tuck this sling all the way down again to the tailbone. We want to do so on both sides, ensuring that the leg straps are turned out of the way. And once we've got that sling tucked down and underneath, we can begin to draw from both leg sides. So what I've done is I've tucked the back of the sling down behind her, and this is an indicator of there. And then I'm just going to draw my leg straps up to the sides. There's a reinforced piece, and you can see it in my hands here, that ultimately will line up with her left leg, and on the other side also with her right leg. So we want to make sure that we've got the material all the way down so that we can draw the leg straps out, and we can do that using the edge of our hand if it's a tight fitting chair. Placing her leg on top of my leg frees up both of my hands so that I have the ability to fit the sling properly, and then I'm not stressing or straining myself. Now ensure that if you're doing this, you're not doing it in an instance where it's contraindicated. If she's a recent hip replacement or knee replacement, we don't want to put any flexion on the leg. But in this instance, since she is not, I can elevate her leg like this and simply draw that leg strap underneath. And I'm just using the edge of my hand, and I'll bring that strap around to there. So I've got a strap with a little bit of reinforcement on the outside of her leg, and another with the smaller part of the sling on the inside. I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Again, by finding the edge of the sling and then simply drawing it down along the side. And if you've twisted your straps up, which happens occasionally, you can just work them loose by hand. Again, look for that reinforcement piece. Elevate her leg, draw the sling up, and underneath, and using the edge of my hand, I can move that material in place. If we were going to use this for a standard application, I would take these two center straps, cross one through the other, and then I would take what started off as the left leg loop, the short loop, and feed the long loop on the right side through it. Do the same on the other side. The end result would be that you'd have the two long straps on the outside with the two short straps having been crossed in the middle. These two would be connected at the leg hooks, and then her two shoulder straps would be connected at the shoulders. If by chance she were a single leg amputee, and in this instance say her left leg's been amputated above the knee, Instead of drawing that strap underneath and crossing in the middle, I would continue by drawing that left leg all the way underneath, that being underneath the right strap as well. And then I would take the long loop, feed it through the short that came from the other side, and feed it through the short in the middle as well to give her a hammock for her right leg and smooth material underneath her left leg where the amputation would have been. Undoing my straps, if she were a double amputee, I would simply feed both straps across from one side to the other and then cross them up, and this would allow us to have a cradle with nothing in the middle to have to worry about supporting her legs or putting any irritation on the stumps. Removal of the sling is just the same as the others. We'll disconnect our sling straps. In this instance, since we have the legs crossed, we're going to uncross one side and then the other side. And from here we can simply draw that leg strap here. On this side I'm going to draw up, and if I need to lean her potentially a little bit one side or the other, I can do so. And then remove that sling.